Good question. That one's easier, so I'll do that first. The official statistic is 5.7%, which is actually up from 5.6% month over month, when in fact we added 263,000 jobs or something. So to me, the headline unemployment rate is a flawed statistic, right? So Chairman Yellen actually has like 25 factors or something of measurement of employment that takes into account wages, temporary workers, hours, a whole lot of other dimensions. So I think, it's easy to quote the unemployment rate as it's listed, the U6 rate, but I don't really think that's an accurate depiction of the employment market. So there are a lot of people still on the sidelines. The more comprehensive unemployment rate is still very high, although dropping. So no, I don't think we're necessarily at full employment here. To answer the second question, so we got that call right, we just did it in the wrong year. So the Kaepernick Fund, the reason why we were attracted to it is we were looking at the market kind of like we are now at the beginning of 2014 and saying the S&P is a little overbought, the valuations have gotten high, we want to play a little bit more defense at this point in the cycle, so how are we going to do it? And what we decided to do was find a manager with the most eclectic deep value portfolio we can find. Well, David Iben, who runs the Kaepernick Fund, managed money for us when he worked at Nuveen in the downturn of 2008. That year, that fund, I'm going to butcher the number, but it was down like 23% when the S&P was down about 40%. So he had played great defense for us in the past, has an incredible long-term track record, but he owns eclectic stuff. So we called him up on the phone and we said, David, here's our thought. The S&P looks a little frothy. There's all this money flowing into index funds. Nobody seems to have any interest in contrarian investments, which means maybe they're a good deal. What do you think? He goes, exactly. He said, I haven't seen a market like this since 1999. And, there we go into the portfolio. So for the first 6 months of the year, it did fine, right? But then it fell apart because all the deep value stuff ended up being materials and energy and things that got swept up in the commodity wash. So the contrarian strategy ended up translating into a short dollar strategy, and that caused us a lot of pain. But here we've got a manager that we have great respect for, we've had a great history with. Question is, is he out of sorts or is the market out of sorts? And so we kind of hedged our bet a little. And so we took him out of the core portfolio, we put him in special situations, basically saying there's too much currency whip action in this portfolio. Let's put him on sort of a wait and see watch. And quite frankly, he's doing fine so far this year, so I'm glad we did that. And if the currency markets calm down and his performance starts tracking like we think, then it could be a core position again. If it ends up being whipsawed around by currencies and we don't think it's a good use of capital, then we'll jettison and go somewhere else.